It now takes 3.43 million to achieve the American dream. Jill sent me this thing from, I think it's Apple News or something like that. If you have a house, a wife, and 2 kids and a dog, the typical American family, now it takes 3.43 million to achieve the American dream, more than you'll probably make over the course of your life. Thus, how could you possibly afford the American dream? I just love numbers like this because it's so despondent. Like, oh, I can't afford it. There's no way I can make this work. I'm giving up. That's what they want you to do. They want you to give up. I mean, give me a break, dude. Can I prove it's wrong? No, why would I even try? It's kind of like this stupid fidelity study every year. You'll need $368,000 money for healthcare costs in retirement, and that doesn't include long-term care. And rookies, like your old buddy Josh, 20 odd years ago, fell for it. I said, man, how the hell? I mean, I remember talking to people saying, look, I did seminars on this thing, because Fidelity had a seminar you could download from their website, and I used to do it. I used to do seminars in, podunk cafes and stuff for anyone to listen. And we'd focus a lot on long-term care. And the whole point was to scare the bejesus out of people about long-term care, so that people would say, man, I don't have this kind of money covered. I need to hire somebody to help me. Oh, man, what a rookie I was. And then I said, wait a second. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks one day. I said, if you need that much money, and no one has that much money, I mean, this is, I'm talking 20 years ago. It probably wasn't 368,000 then, it's probably 190. I said, but if you need that kind of money, and no one has that kind of money, how are people getting by in retirement? How come there's not freaking food lines and bread lines and people living off the street? Well, there are people living on the street now. Yeah, that's Bidenomics, but, under a normal administration, we don't have people living off the street. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, that just occurred to me. So there's something wrong with this, because this just isn't happening in terms of destitution amongst retirees. It's just not happening. So how could this possibly be? And I said, wait a second. They're saying a lump sum. A lump sum. Oh. There goes my son right there. You saw him drunk driving. Oh boy. Kevin! He's going to Secret Santa. Can go buy a gift for his Secret Santa. It's funny. Anyway. So it occurred to me, so wait a second. Destitution isn't happening amongst retirees. So what's going on here? They said, oh, they're talking a lump sum. You need this money today to cover your expenses for the next 20 odd years. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Said, well, in that case, how much you need for your house? How much you need for property taxes? How much you need for food? How much you need for this? How much you need to change your underwear? How much you need for that? Of course, changing my underwear fee is $0 because I don't change my underwear. Got one pair I've been wearing since I've been in Panama, when I was in the Army. All right? Then it just occurred to me, I said, well, this is dumb. This assumes that everybody has a lump sum need from when they retire today, as if they're not going to have an income coming in to cover those lump sums, to cover those expenditures. And they're going to have an income coming in, be it Social Security, plus your 401k, pension, whatever, IRA, you name it. Oh, by the way, so I'm reading my book from Peter Drucker right now, The Unseen Revolution, Socialism in America, Pension Socialism in America. And he makes a good point. Very interesting, though. He goes, and this is written in 1975, he goes, the way we're going now is socialism. The orthodox definition of socialism, and the most right definition of socialism, is the employees control the production of wealth. That's socialism. Employees control the production of wealth, or the production of the means of production, excuse me. If employees control the means of production, and pension plans are a significant ownership of the means of production, i.e. the corporations that produce things, all right, which they are. And the pensioners are the employees of various firms. And inherently, the employees own the means of production in a true socialistic manner. That's a good way to put it. That's true. Employees own the means of production via pensions. Now, interestingly, Peter Drucker was throwing in IRAs as pensions, SEPs, simplified employee pension plans as pensions. And this was just when IRAs and KEO plans, i.e. you can't really call an IRA a defined contribution, but in a way you can. So he was lump summing all these other things into defined benefit plans. Simplified employee pensions, that's a SEP IRA. A lot of dentists used to have those. Defined contribution plans, profit sharing on top of just typical defined benefit plans. It's very interesting. So why is he doing that? I don't really know why, actually. But he's using IRAs, and the IRAs are just in the infancy. But it's very interesting. So Peter Drucker is saying, the way this is going, employee ownership of the means of production are going to be over 50% in a matter of years. I'm walking up a hill if you're wondering why I'm breathing so fast. Gotta get that breath. Gotta get the monkeypox. Oh yeah, it feels good in my lungs. Gotta get that fresh air. Oh, taking the chemtrails. Oh yeah. It's just airplane vapor. Dude, they're dropping stuff on us. You know it, I know it. Chemtrails are just airplane vapor. Vapor trails, okay. Anyway, so we know that now over 50%, I don't know the exact number, is owned by employees. You know, workers, retirees. It's not owned by, you know, the Elon Musks of the world. I mean, a lot of it, don't get me wrong, but certainly the amount of capital that employees own and retirees is higher than the amount of capital that a couple rich monopoly guys with their monocles on own, if that makes sense. It's a very interesting way to look at that. Kind of changes the perspective of socialism, doesn't it? If the employees own the means of production, that's socialism. Now, idiots will say socialism is government spending. The GI Bill is socialist. Well, idiots, and I do say this idiotic because this is just dumb. They'll say, your school is socialist. Your police force is socialist. No, that's literally fascism. Why? Because the government doesn't produce a police car. The government doesn't build a building. The government contracts that out to private entities. Well, that'd be fascism right there. So just a quick economics lesson. Socialism, employees own the means of production. Fascism, the government controls things, but they allow private businesses to basically make a lot of profit at the behest of the government. The government wants, you know, the economy to go to the left, to the right, up, down, whatever. And they'll do so with incentives for private corporations to do so and make profits. That's probably even worse than outright socialism, frankly, because we're privatizing the profits and we're socializing the risk, i.e. the government has all the risk, i.e. the taxpayer, but the private businesses get all the profits. That's why I've totally changed on the wealth tax thing from where I used to be many years ago. It's, no. If you're profiting off the government largesse, more so than a competitor, because you happen to know the right guys, you have to scratch the right backs and whatnot, you should pay a part of that back to the government, which allowed you those profits. That's just a fact. I mean, it's just, look, we're not going to fix this today, but it's just, if you had the ability to profit of government picking and choosing you as a winner over a competitor, for whatever reason, of course, we all know it's political, then you should pay more tax on your gains. I'm not even saying they're ill-found gains. I'm just saying you got gains with a help up from the government. Some of those gains should be paid back to the government as almost like a deferred compensation, if you will. In fact, it's very interesting. I got a thought in terms of how to make people save for their retirement because everyone's worried about it. They're saying we don't have enough savings. It's just not true. We do. They're saying we're not saving for enough for retirement. It's just not true. We are. But of course, their fools will say, we need people to have an IRA. I'm like, you idiots. Yeah, I'm using idiots a lot here today. Probably shouldn't, but I'm just in that kind of mood. You idiots. Do you not know why people aren't opening IRAs? It's not because of hurdles they have to jump through. It's because of cash flow. Fools, they don't have the cash flow. You know, Susie Ormans of the world. Just open a Roth IRA of $5,000. I'm like, dude, if you would have told me that back when Charlotte and I, dude, we'd have freaking 2 nickels to rub together, Susie Orman, to freaking open an IRA. We're just getting by. You know, hardly even. In fact, we're probably even taking more debt than we were cash flow coming in, which is why I had to work 2 jobs. Sure, I had to go work as a part-time teller because we're trying to raise families, you know, having babies and whatnot. Had a car loan, had student loans, had a mortgage. We have an extra $2,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 for an IRA. Well, you should. Well, we didn't. I don't know what to tell you, Susie Orman. If I had the money, I would have. We didn't have the money. So what do? Well, you could take on debt, which is what we ended up doing. Taking on debt to fund my Roth IRAs is actually a pretty good idea. It still is. It fell like a freaking lead balloon on my head, though. So I borrow against my credit cards, 0% APY for life, 0% interest rate for life of the loan, and put that money in my Roth. Basically, it's an arbitrage. I'm giving the bank 0, and I'm going to get whatever the market gives me. And lo and behold, the market took 57% away from October 2007 to March 9th of 2009. So even though I was only paying 0%, I only had 43,000 or 43% of my initial capital to show for it. Good times, good times. And then, of course, the banks called in their loans. So basically, it's a margin loan for me, essentially. But I thought it was a 0% for life loan. Yeah, so did I. Until the small print said otherwise. You're like, oof. Like, oh, I guess a calamity. The banks called those loans in. Yeah, lesson learned, dude. I'm like, who was it? Not Thomas Mellon from the Mellon Banker clan. It was, who was the other guy, man? Drawing a blank. There's another guy, rich guy, who basically saw his dad go bankrupt, essentially like that. He says, I'll never. It was Andrew Jackson, I think. Or maybe he's went bankrupt. I can't remember. Anyway, the banks calling his debts or something like that. He says, I will never have that happen to me again. That's why he wasn't too keen on the banks. Andrew Jackson rocks and rolls. The man of all men. How dare you? How dare you? Don't you know the Trail of Tears? Yeah, I do. We had a lot of issues back then on all sides, dude. All sides. If you think the American Indians were here first, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. So again, history is an agreed upon lie. Who was here before the American Indians? Don't know. Don't know. Should you investigate? Yeah, if you're interested, but why waste your time? I mean, you should. I could read, by all means, and look at some conspiracy theories on stuff. I'll open up your eyes to some stuff, but don't get too wasted in that stuff. You're just going down a rabbit hole, and you'll never find an answer. And as such, just pull your head up and see what you can do tomorrow to accomplish what you need to be doing. Anyway, looks like Charlotte's calling, so I'm going to let you go. But if you think we need $3.5 million for the American dream, you're probably right. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means it costs money to live. Shocking. You know, I'm smoking a chicken right now. It costs $12 for a 7-pound chicken. I'm sure it definitely wasn't a free-range chicken. I can tell you that right now, which is bad. I should have bought it, but I just had an instant when I was at Publix. So I'm gonna buy this chicken. So I'm $2 a pound off the sale. So I'm gonna buy that sucker. So I bought it, smoking it. Take 5 hours to smoke it. $2.50, and electricity on that $2.50 on my Traeger grill, plus the chicken, all that. It's $20 right there. When all said and done, give or take. You know what I'm saying? to feed a family of 5, and that's just dinner. You know, a family of 6, well, Maddie won't, but I guess Maddie will be here. Family of 6, excuse me. You know, still got to feed the dogs, and that's just dinner. You know, it costs money, dude. Shocking that anyone would use the amount it costs you over your life as a lump sum to tell you that, oh my goodness, it's horrible. It's just sickening to me. Get out there and live, dude, and enjoy it. Bye, God bless.